So, I have played Grand Theft Auto Vice City for the first time in 2026, and I could not believe how much Rockstar managed to improve in 1 year. So, basically, if you've seen my review of GTA 3, I thought after finishing it that Vice City was going to be pretty much mostly the same, right? I thought, only 9 months have passed from, the games, and I thought they're going to be pretty much the same, just the same thing all over again, just in a different city or whatever. But only a few hours I realized I was completely like wrong. Okay, Vice City does not feel like an expansion of GTA 3. It feels like a completely new game, and honestly, I enjoyed it a lot more and a lot more than I expected. With like GTA 3, I felt like I mostly was finishing the game just to get to the next game because of this marathon. I wanted to like see how different everyone. I just wanted to like finish it, to get to the next one. But with Vice City, it was completely the opposite. Okay, I constantly wanted to come back and just play this world over and over again. Okay, every time I finished a mission, I found myself saying, "Okay, just one more." Every time I finished like a session of playing, it just was like, "Yeah, I want to come back. I want to do one more mission." Like, it never happened to me. Especially not with a lot of like. It generally felt like a modern game. It didn't feel like an old game just have to like finish to like checklist. It really did not feel like that, which is that's crazy. Okay, let me start off with the story. So here we finally get a real main character. Okay, Tommy Vercetti is someone who is not just getting missions and just goes to do that like we had with GTA 3 with Claude. He has like an actual personality. He actually has opinions. He reacts to things around him. Every time like a mission starts, like he usually says something about you know something about the situation that kind of adds more character to who he is, which I think that's great. You know, it sounds small, but it really adds. Like every time hear him say something, like kind of you get connected to him a lot more. So the story kind of begins with a drug deal that goes wrong, with Tommy, which almost get him killed. And from that point on, he tries to like figure out who exactly was the one to betray him for, the deal to go wrong, who is behind everything, and he kind of starts building his own criminal empire in Vice City. That's kind of what the story is and kind of where it goes. And slowly throughout the game, you kind of meet more people, you create more connections, you take over some businesses, and you get to the point where the ending of this game genuinely feels like such a classic 80s crimes, film. Literally, there's a scene that takes like complete, like one-to-one reference from Scarface, which I was so happy to see that. Now, it might not be like the deepest story in the series or anything, but it just works. Tommy's just a character that you enjoy to follow. He's just such a fun character, man. And one of the things that surprised me a whole lot is the humor. In GTA 3, I felt like almost no humor. There, you kind of no Rockstar for, except for maybe like the radio, which I talked about. But here, everything starts to like come together. You start seeing how Rockstar creates these weird, wacky, colorful character, how they make the dialogue, super funny. One of my favorite moments, I'm not joking, it was such a hilarious moment when one of the gangster that, Tommy works for, he gets angry because his VCR like machine not working, and he just pulls up a gun and shoots the machine to make it work, and then Tommy like arrives like a second later and be like, "Oh, what are you talking about? It's not connected. You can't see it." Like, it's such a hilarious, like absurd scene. Just fits Rockstar, like having these crazy mobsters, and all that. And Tommy, I think he acts as a really good main character because he feels like a person who really forwards things up. He's like, I want to make things work. How do I do that? Um, which just I think makes him for a really fun character to follow. Now, even gameplay wise, there's so much improvements here. Almost everything. The shooting feels a lot better. Movement is a lot better. Like we can finally run properly. Like in GTA 3, it felt like almost every time you got out of the car, you felt like a turtle. Like you were like super vulnerable and you would just die like every second. Here, Tommy actually runs a lot and he doesn't get tired like every literally 1 second. So actually, like even when your car dies and stuff like that, you have to like replace car. You don't feel like a chicken. You know, you feel like you actually have a chance of running and getting through stuff. And motorcycles. Okay, this game first, like for the first time, actually gets a motorcycle. We finally get that, and I didn't realize how much I missed them until like I actually used them in here, which they're not just another type of vehicle. They actually change the way you think about certain missions because not only they're like a lot faster, but there's certain places that that cars can reach and only motorcycles can. So they kind of make you think. Sometimes you want like more protection with a car, and a motorcycle can get you like off of it like much quicker. So kind of becomes this interesting thing where you have to like think about what you should do. Now, in terms of the missions themselves, I feel like they're a lot more fair. Still, we have some difficult missions that I've like tried a couple of times, but none of what we had in the GTA 3. Like it does not feel as punishing as what GTA 3 had. But there's one thing I'm kind of divided by. I'm not so sure about. That is the property system in this game. So at a certain point in the game, I simply just ran out of main missions to do. The normal letter missions you have on the map. I just stopped getting them. And I did not know what to do. I started like freaking out. I started walking around the city. I waited for phone call. I thought maybe like my game was broken after like restart, a load, like a previous load or something. Eventually I just had to like finish and look up online, which frustrated me because I wanted to make this game, like play this game completely, completely new, completely new eyes, completely like without any help from anyone else, just myself. And I couldn't do that. I had to like search, and I saw online basically you have to like buy certain properties in order to continue the story. Now, on one hand, I really like this idea because it fits with the whole story of Tommy at that point start building his criminal empire, and it makes sense, that as players we kind of buy these things to throughout the city, to make Tommy's world feel bigger. So I like the idea with the gameplay stuff, but it doesn't really work well because some of these properties are super super expensive, and I had a lot of moments where I didn't have enough money to get some of the like mandatory ones, and that forced me to like stop doing the main story. And I had to like grind. I had to like grind for I don't know, like 6 hours of like in-game, like real-time hours in order to get enough money to buy the mandatory properties, which I don't like that. I don't like when a game forces me to grind or like do extra side stuff just to, continue the story. I don't like that. I don't know what to tell you. I think if the game would have explained this idea better, like telling you beforehand, then maybe you should do that, or maybe it would have given you more money to like at least get the mandatory ones to be easier. I think it would be better. But yeah. But if there's one thing that I gotta talk about that made me completely fall in love with this game, it's the atmosphere, it's the vibe. Going from GTA 3 Liberty City, that felt like this grimy, dark, and sad kind of world, to Vice City, that's a complete fun, ocean and beaches and the trees and, the 80s music and the whole like partying vibe. I love that so much. It's such a unique, interesting vibe, it was so much fun to just walk around the world and look, in the whole place where you had like all the hotels. And the fact that we know this is going to be the same city that's going to be in GTA 6 is crazy to me. There's the fact that I loved this version of the city so much, and it felt for me like it was so much alive. I cannot think about what's going to happen with GTA 6, man. So, GTA Vice City, still worth playing GTA 6? Absolutely, in my opinion. Not only it did age like a lot better than I expected, it literally showed me like so much how much Rockstar has improved, making the story feel a lot more like an actual cinematic story. The characters, like actual more deep characters, humor, the atmosphere being more fun, more crazy, the gameplay being a lot better with the motorcycles, the guns, you felt like you had more control. And that just made the game a lot more fun, in my opinion. And yeah, man, I'm like even more now excited to see what's gonna be with the next game, because if that's what Rockstar manages to do with only 1 year in between them, I cannot wait to see what's gonna happen in GTA San Andreas, because I know that from I think from Vice City to San Andreas it's 2 years. So if they can do this in 1 year, what the hell are they gonna be able to do in 2 years? I'm super excited. So yeah, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, you can subscribe to my channel before GTA 6, because we are going to go through every single one of the games without nostalgia, just seeing if these games manage to stand the test of time. So far, they really, really do. I'm enjoying this a lot more than I expected. And yeah, guys, see you guys in the review of San Andreas.